Welcome, Hudson Valley, to this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. This week's guest is Niki Halwani, author of the children's book, Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid. The book was inspired by Niki's daughter's experience in school, and we discuss how the book has not only changed their lives, but the lives of other families who deal with hearing impairments. I'll let you know now that her book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, just in case you get the urge to order the book while you're listening to this discussion. We invite you to listen to a previously recorded conversation between Niki and myself here on In Touch. I'm proud to announce that In Touch has won the 2023 New York State Broadcasters Association Award for Outstanding Public Affairs Program or Series, as part of the 57th Annual Excellence in Broadcasting Awards. This recognition would not be possible without the incredible team here at Townsquare, all of our phenomenal guests that we learn from and grow with every single week, and of course you, the listener. Whether you've been listening for a while or you just found us, thank you for taking part in the conversation and staying in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. We here at In Touch are all about, well, being in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. What better way to stay in touch with what's going on than by downloading the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station? Not only can you listen to this station live at any time using the app, but you can also listen to In Touch on demand. Besides In Touch, you can read daily articles about news, events, entertainment, and more that's going on in your community. And when the weather gets bad, you can use the app to check on weather reports and see which schools, roads, and organizations are closed. Your Townsquare Media app also is the best place for concert and event tickets. We are constantly giving away tickets to the hottest shows in the area. Again, you'll have access to all of this if you download the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station. In Touch is nothing without the support from the hundreds of listeners we get on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for listening and taking part in the conversation. If you listen to In Touch through a podcast service such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a positive review. With more 5-star reviews on these platforms, the algorithms will work even harder to promote our show and bring In Touch to new people. That and also sharing In Touch with your friends and family is so important. Just sharing our links and listening live each Sunday goes such a long way. Thank you for all you do to stay in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. And we got a great episode for you today. I'm really excited about this one. I have this book physically in my hand. It is, first of all, gorgeous to look at, but it's got an even more gorgeous and spectacular backstory behind it. With us today here on In Touch, we have the author of Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid, Niki Halwani. Niki, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm really excited to have you in here. I'm feeling really great about this. Now, Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid, as we were talking before, is like your first storybook that you've published, correct?
Yes, correct.
And that's awesome. And this is more than just a storybook. This is something that is very meaningful, impactful, not just for your family, but to a whole community of people worldwide, and it resonates with so many children, with so many parents, and it's really spectacular. And I would love to get into a little bit of the background. Why did you write Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid?
Yeah, thank you for letting me be here. Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid, I started to write because my daughter wears a hearing aid in her left ear, and she started kindergarten this past September, and students kept asking her what's in her ear. What's in her ear? She would repeat, "It's my hearing aid." They would be like, "What is that?" She would say, "It would help me hear." And a lot of students just weren't educated in hearing aids. They're curious. And of course, they're kids. They're 5, 6 years old. It's very different for them, especially if they're in their home and nobody wears a hearing aid. They're unsure what it is. I saw the frustration in my daughter's face. She would always come home and say, "Why am I the only one with a hearing aid?" And, you know, as a mom, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. She's very educated in it, obviously. And again, most students don't know about it. So I decided to write a book. I mean, what else are you going to do? So I started the journey of writing this book from, start to finish. And I would want educators and to read this in the class, as well as parents who are going through the process to read this book to their loved ones.
No, that's really terrific. And I think that was a great approach that you had to, creating this book and getting this story out there. I think that was really wonderful. And when it came to writing the story, now we were talking before, your background isn't necessarily in literature or English or anything like that. So this was a new territory for you. Can you tell us about that journey of, one, finding the editor and finding the right language to use to speak to kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I never wrote a book before. I don't have a background in English. So I started my research on what does it take to write a book? What do I need? And I just started researching. I knew I needed an editor because my language is adult, and they needed to simplify it better for children. So a word like audiologist, a child might not understand that, whereas ear expert we use is more relevant to them. So I just did my research. I found an editor I really liked. I had to find an illustrator, which was difficult. The whole process of publishing a book to an ISBN number, which I didn't know a book needed. This is how out of the dark I was.
But you took it on, and you took it on head on, where, some people would be discouraged or give up much further back. But here you are, you got this book, and it's out, and it's published, and you're trying to make this story known, which is really incredible. And let's talk about the illustrations for a second, too. I'm looking at this, and it's beautifully illustrated and everything. Could you tell us about the group that you did end up going with here, illustrated by Tulip Studio?
Yes. I actually was working with other illustrators at first. They would send me over their illustrations. I would have them change a little bit, and I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling that this is my book. I wanted it to be vibrant. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to really be attractive to the eye. So I actually went through a couple illustrators until I found them. And they started drafting up and using the colors that I wanted and being able to really work with someone and say, I want this change and I want it to look like this. And I just want the pictures on this side and the word on this side. They really, really worked with me to make it what I wanted. And that's what I wanted. I had a vision, and they produced it.
That's really awesome. So the book came out back in February of this year. So it's been out for several months now. What kind of response have you received since the book has come out? Now, you've had a chance to read for a few classes you mentioned before too. So tell us about that. What kind of response are you getting from both kids and adults?
It's overwhelming, actually. I didn't think it would be as big as it is. And I'm really excited about that. Just seeing the reviews online from, parents saying, Peyton's magical hearing aid. My son, my daughter loves it. My son has a hearing aid in his left ear, just like Peyton. This is a great book. It tells you the process. It tells you what you can do with the hearing aid. And even in school, teachers, speech pathologists, audiologists grab the book so that they can read to the class as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, the representation goes such a long way. And you were also talking before we got on the mic of how it really helped change your daughter's life and perspective, where it went from everybody's asking about, what is that? But it's now changed into something really beautiful, almost kind of like a special superpower, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's a star of the book and she loves it. And, the students were asking after I read the book to her class, more questions like, were you able to choose the color of your hearing aid? Can you really connect it to your iPad? That's so cool. And those are the questions she wants to answer. She doesn't want to answer why she has it, how did she get it, all those, difficult, in her mind, questions where this is cool. She loves it. The kids want a hearing aid now. They think it creates some superpower, and it makes her feel comfortable. I felt a sense of relief she had, after I read the book, and the students were all clapping and so excited and wanted to learn more about her hearing aid and what it can do, rather than, that question, what's in your ear? And she took it more as being different, and why am I the only one who has a hearing aid, instead of, oh, now she embraces it. And she's like, I can never get rid of it. I'm Peyton's magical hearing aid.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad that she can look at it that way. And it just goes to show you what representation really can do. What you said about the reviews is like, oh, my child has one the same way, and how the child relates to that. And now she sees it as something special, and how she sees it as a part of herself, her identity, and how it sees it as a positive thing, not like some weakness or detractor where she felt before when all the kids are like, what's that? It's now something beautiful that everybody can embrace in a new way, especially through the education. And the education is such a big thing. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's Public Affairs and Issues program. We're speaking with Niki Halwani, author of Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid. It is this wonderful children's book outlining it's her daughter's story of going to school, having her hearing aid, how she adapts to her students, and how she can just build and grow now. And I think this is a wonderful thing to be able to do as a parent for a daughter. It's really beautiful. And you said that you have a number of things that you want to do with this book to keep moving forward with the educational sense of all this. Obviously, you're here on In Touch, but you got a number of cool interviews you were telling me that you're going off to do where you are really spreading the word about this. Can you tell us, how far you're going already with this?
Yeah, I have a couple interviews set up and articles that people want to write. I think it's just to bring awareness that they want to, meet with me, and this book really can do a lot for a lot of families and children and schools. Having your, child in school and maybe being the only one with a hearing aid, teachers, to read the book to really help them feel more comfortable. But yeah, I'm doing some interviews, and I'm really excited about it. I just want to get the word out there and bring awareness and for everyone to understand.
Now, did you expect the kind of response and the publicity that this book is getting when you were originally writing this? Did you expect or hope that you would get this out there to the lengths that you've had so far?
No. I was hopeful, and I'm excited that it is, but I really wrote it for my daughter. I wanted to read it to her class, make her feel comfortable wearing a hearing aid. Prior to this, she was completely fine wearing a hearing aid. And then she started kindergarten, and then these questions happened. And I think going into kindergarten, she didn't think she would get these questions. It was a part of her life. I just wanted to make her feel special and that it's okay to be different. And honestly, I thought the long run. I thought maybe when she's in her 20s or 30s and she has kids, she would be like, wow, my mom wrote a book for me. That's how awesome my mom is. It was more like that.
Yeah.
And I just saw the reaction from people and the reviews and people contacting me. I wish I had this when I was younger. My brother has hearing loss. We could have used this when he was younger. And I was like, I got to do something about this and really spread the word. And I really want to get this book out there for families and educators.
Yeah. Advocation is one of the best things that you can do when you're, in a certain field or in a certain community, just making it more, making the awareness broader to people outside of it, or those who, need to be a part of it, but they don't know how to get involved in everything. Yeah. You were talking before about also wanting to eventually start a nonprofit with working towards all this. Could you describe that and those plans that you have?
Yeah, I would love to start a nonprofit. I would love proceeds from the book to go to that nonprofit. A lot of people don't know that hearing aids aren't covered by insurance, and they cost a lot. And a lot of parents who have children with hearing aids could be from birth. Children could start their hearing loss journey at 1, 2, 3. Hearing aids, like I said, are expensive, and not all of us have that money at hand, to be able to get our children hearing aids. And it's sad because I don't know why it's not essential for insurance reasons, but a lot of us don't have that money. It could be anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, depending on, how many hearing aids you need. And I would love to help families whose insurance doesn't pay for them to pay for hearing aids.
That would be really beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I think that'd be great because, it does get expensive. And here on In Touch, we've talked about a lot of different things when it comes to helping out family members of all different ages. Mm-hmm. And as caregivers and family members, when you feel like you're not able to help out and care for the way that you feel you should, it can be a very helpless and isolating kind of feeling. So to be able to help out other families going through a similar instance, that'd be amazing to give them that hope and that light and that extra help. And I think simply just writing this book is already doing that. It's already shedding that light, and it's beautiful. And having these conversations right now is exactly doing that too, which really leads me to say, like, if we have a parent or somebody that's going through hearing loss right now, what would be some of the things based on your experience, what should these people look into? What should these people expect? And how should these people feel? Is like, obviously not alone because they're all this, but how can they, feel less alone through it, I guess?
If there's a parent and their child is going through hearing loss, I would get the book,
Yeah.
whether it's mine or someone else's, and really embrace it for the child. It is an emotional roller coaster, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
My daughter's story was a little different. She wasn't born with hearing loss. If you're not in a situation where you know about hearing loss, or it's your first time, or your child needs a hearing aid, like I said, it's very emotional, and to read and understand the process, which my book talks about, the process, and get them excited about it. I know that I was hyping my daughter up before she got it. And I remember the day it came in and we had to drive to go get it. I was running late. And she kept going, "Mommy, we're going to be late. I need to get my hearing aid." And she was excited to get it because I told her she would be able to hear and hear better. And, she picked out the colors. It was purple and pink and rainbow. Aww. And she was just like so excited to get it. And, she put it in her ear and, she said, "Mama, I can hear." And it just was the best moment of my life. So
wow. I'm getting a little emotional just like hearing about that. But it's true. Just to be able to provide that is such a wonderful and beautiful opportunity, and something as a parent, as you said, I can understand being like one of the most beautiful moments that you could have. That's really great. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's Public Affairs and Issues program. We've been speaking with author of Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid, Niki Halwani. We've been also talking about awareness for hearing loss and those who are going through it, whether families or individuals, and what people can do and what are the steps that they should look into and what are some things that they might expect along the way. I think this is a beautiful book and a beautiful story, and really excited for where you'll keep going with this, because I feel like this is just the beginning of your journey, and I'm really excited for you. So where can people find you and find the book? What are the best ways for people to get connected and to, start reading?
Yeah. Well, my book is on Amazon, and it's also on Barnes & Noble online, and you can contact me through social media, Niki Halwani, and I'm here to help any questions especially families might have.
No, terrific. Now, is there any last nugget of information or inspiration for our In Touch audience that you might want to leave everybody with?
Having a child with hearing loss can be difficult, but it's going to be okay. And just to do your research, reach out to people, and start bringing awareness. And That's it.
That works. No, and it's beautiful. Again, you were doing great work with this book, and I appreciate the copy. We're going to have all around. I'm going to show this to everybody in here. It's like, guys, look at this. And I got so many friends and teachers and other people in the community that I think would really benefit from this. And I was telling you before, I have so many emails I want to CC you on. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So no, this would be great. So Niki, thank you so much for coming on In Touch and sharing your story, not just with us, but with everybody.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Niki Halwani. Her book, Peyton's Magical Hearing Aid, is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Of course, all links and information can be found in the description of this episode. Whether you've been listening for a while or you've just joined us, thank you. You can find In Touch episodes new and old on your favorite streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. That and listen on demand with your Townsquare radio station mobile app. Of course, you can find all articles and audio under the In Touch tab on this radio station's app and website. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at InTouch_HV. If you like what we do here on In Touch and want to be on the show, let us know. Whether you have a topic you want discussed or you want to be a guest, the best way to contact us is through our office number 845-471-1500 or email direct to connor.walsh@townsquaremedia.com. I've been your host, Connor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time